After Dark, something. Ooh, slow dissolve. Yeah. After Dark, something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something.
Did we like the show? By the way, thank you, chat room. That was fun.
That was chat.
Did I say Space Vidcast?
When?
I don't know. Jim Howard says, what is a Space Vidcast thing? I do need
with a winky smiley face. Seriously?
I know. That's why I'm asking if I said Space Vidcast.
No, the ending on the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Although I think it's also really funny that we've changed the current logo so much, or the letter so much, that in the second break, we come from one tomorrow to a different tomorrow.
On the screen. Oh, yeah. We're almost done. We
are almost done, but I just thought it was funny.
The latest revision of Tomorrow, the MRO, I really like, except that the curve on the right side of the M and the curve on the left side of the R kind of conflict with each other. So once we kind of fix those up, I think we'll be done. And the thing that I really like about it is the MRO used the old font, modified version of the old font that was in the old Space Vidcast logo. So there's a little bit of that pull forward. It's very subtle. You really have to be a typography expert to realize it, because M, R, and O were never in Space Vidcast, right? You don't use any one of those letters, so you'd never be able to tell. But yeah. So one of the things I talked about, this is sort of related to Tomorrow. I said in pre-show that I'd talk about it in post-show, and that is an idea I have been floating around with regards to Tomorrow, and that is telling the short version of this story, because she got the really long version. I was on forums and whatnot, reading about IBC, which is a big international video conference in Amsterdam. And this is where companies release new video products. Blackmagic, we use a lot of their gear. They had some new stuff. Sony, Canon, Nikon, Teradek, all names that we use here at Tomorrow. And so, for my day job as a pixel migrator, did you want to show everyone? Just kind of rotate your screen so they can see.
Yeah, I like this one.
But I think that the curvature there and the curvature there is wrong. Okay. It just needs to be tweaked slightly.
Sure, I like it.
It's very, very close. Not that you can tell a whole lot, but there you go. I suppose you could load it in the switches. So that's what it's most likely going to look like. Minor tweak to the M, and I think we're done. Anyhow, so I'm on these forums, and I'm watching some videos from some of these companies with some of their new products, and one of them was from a company called NewTek, and they make something called a video toaster. We don't actually use one because they're way overpriced, and they highlight features that are very gimmicky that I would never use. Never is a strong word. I would probably never use. And you pay through the nose for them. So I'm like, no, but I wanted to see what they're doing, because they do have a new product that is pretty cool that I could use in all the companies I work for. And in that video, they were talking about, they were doing a profile, and this company said, yeah, we've created a global television network using the internet. And I was like, oh, that's what Tomorrow did, right? We've created a global television network using the internet. And then I was like, no, we haven't done a network. We've created a global television show. We have a singular show, but we use the internet for this. And I got to thinking, but why couldn't it be a network, right? So this show is all about space and exploration, and I hope you guys like it. But why couldn't we do more? Why couldn't we have, say, 5 shows a week? I'm just picking a random number. All live, all with the same general formula of interacting with you guys, having a live chat room, a two-way conversation, utilizing the live technology. But you'd have Tomorrow Space, which is what we're doing now. You'd have Tomorrow Technology, when the Apple stuff comes out. That one's an easy one. Tomorrow Transportation. So the next generation, fuel cell cars, all electric cars, Hyperloop, personal rapid transit, stuff like that. And then you could extend it to other shows as well. I mean, I don't know what they would be, but kind of that general thought. And the shows, much like Tomorrow as it is today, would all be crowdfunded. So we would use Patreon on a per show basis. So if you wanted to contribute to Tomorrow Space, you would contribute to just that show. And every time Tomorrow Space releases a new episode, if you don't care about technology at all, you don't contribute to the technology shows at all. And then for anyone who's interested in technology, they contribute to the technology shows, so on and so on. But then all the shows combined, because it's a network of shows now, you don't need to buy 5 different control rooms and 5 different setups of all the equipment. It's just one grouping of it. So kind of all of it rises up together collectively. So, Tomorrow Energy. So, Tomorrow Cats. I don't think the internet actually needs more cat videos. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that there's a threshold of how many cats you can stick on the internet, and we're nearing the maximum. So that's my thought process. I haven't figured out how to, because we can't do. I'm not an expert in any of these things, including space, but I certainly am passionate about technology, as you know, because I'm an advocate for next-gen technology. I have been for years, whether you guys knew that about me or not. It's how I know what personal rapid transit is, just off the top of my head. It's also how I know. I think I sputtered out some stuff based on electric vehicles and photovoltaics on the show. It's something I'm passionate about.
I just want to point out to Jim Howard really quickly. He says, please know tomorrow Apple rules all. This right here
is this Microsoft Surface.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, and a huge thank you to all you patrons out there, because I know I say that a lot, but I truly mean it. We use it to, it used to be that I had to pay for everything, almost everything, out of my own pocket. We spent well over $1,000 per month on this show. And now it's to the point where Patreon pays 100% of tomorrow. I no longer have to pay out of my own pocket. But
awesome.
It is so awesome. You have no idea. It's such a financial relief. Because I love doing the show, but oh my God, it's expensive. So, I choose to make it expensive because I always want to advance the show. This was the first show where we used the brand new Casper CG box, which Dutta used. And while we certainly ran into issues, that wasn't Casper's fault. I realized the video that you had fail was the one that didn't finish transferring over, and I neglected to verify that it actually worked on the server. So that was a file transfer issue. If I were to transfer the file over right now, I bet it would play. But I have to retransfer it.
Somebody in the chat room is freaking out about $12K a year. And that's just right now. You should have seen the initial investment.
Oh my God, it's so much worse than that, because you need to consider, you're like, oh, well, you're doing it wrong, right? It shouldn't cost you anything. Bullsh. Here's why. Here's why. So we use live stream because we had so many issues on YouTube. That right there is $400 a month, just immediately, right? And you go, oh, well, you can use Ustream. We had issues with Ustream too, and we want to create an experience that works for you. So that's what it costs. It's just the cost of streaming. Now, $400 per month is not that expensive.
Nope.
But immediately, right there, boom, $400 per month. We make our shows available on iTunes and Roku and your downloadable format of choice. You want to put it on your iPad? Great. That means you're downloading it. You're downloading it from the cloud. And guess what? These are really long, high-definition shows, which means that each episode is over 1 gigabyte. And I like playing with that. And
the microphone can hear it, so stop.
And that means that our Amazon S3 storage is another $200 to $300 per month, depending upon how popular the episode is. We're immediately at $700, and I haven't even gotten into web hosting yet. I haven't gotten into anything yet. We haven't purchased any equipment. We haven't improved anything. We're about $700 per month just to host the platform.
Recurring. I mean, that's
every month.
Other thing.
Recurring every month.
So when you buy equipment, at least it's a one-time fee. So that's kind of nice. And admittedly, our computers we use for personal use as well as tomorrow. So we don't really count those sorts of things.
Yeah, I don't count these laptops, but this is purely for tomorrow. It is only used on set. And when we're done here, we fold it up and put the charger on it, and it sits here.
It sits there.
And there's nothing but this. Ever.
Mostly because half the time we forget it. We have it.
Don't need it for anything else. Although, the plan is, eventually I want to have 3 surfaces kind of all leaned back right here. Just boom, boom, boom. So it'll look sleeker on the table. I think it'll look a lot nicer than having these laptops out like this.
Right, but like this.
Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. It'll be, how you did that, right? So it'll be A little bit better than that, but something like
A little
that.
bit, yeah.
Yeah, like that. I think that'll look better on the set. And then I eventually want to get rid of this table and have like a white topped table, maybe a cool, maybe a white background with some neat things, probably for season 8.
Aerospike says I'd be eating out of a dumpster if I was paying $1,000 per month on a show.
Now, keep in mind, some of that, it wasn't purely out of our own pocket. There was a little bit of it, like ad revenue would offset some of it, but not even remotely close to what you think it would offset. Epic was not very popular because it was overpriced because, whatever. It helped, but it didn't offset it. So, yeah.
Right.
Anyhow, that's what it costs. And with Patreon, those costs no longer come out of our own pocket, which is really, really nice. But with that, we're able to pay for all of those things. But there's enough left over where we've purchased another camera, the Dutta Cam that you can see once. Hi, Dutta. Right, he's got a new microphone. He's got the new Casper CG system, which will be more stable, more awesome, and that's going to enable the social media stuff that we can put on the bottom. I'm super excited about that. I think being able to pull in tweets is going to be awesome. So when we're talking about something, there will be a new thing on the website where you'll be able to tweet at us, hashtag TMRO, and that will all be filtered. And then we can actually, from one of these tablets, say, send that to air and it will animate on screen. So you'll still have your IRC chat room, fret not, that chat room will be there. But you'll have this Twitter area. And Vax, to answer your PM, I'm not set up for that this week because we did too many changes. But I do want to do that sometime. It'll be cool. And the advantage of doing the Twitter thing is that other people will see this hashtag and kind of maybe wonder what's going on and maybe can wander into the show and get excited about space as well. That's part of the plan. And you'll be immortalized in the show. It'll be burned into the show. We used to have the IRC chat room at the bottom of the screen, but, 4chan came along. Right? And they like to cause chaos, and they did, and it just became too hard to moderate. But when we can moderate just a Twitter feed and everything's moderated up on screen that's relevant, I think that's a little bit easier because I want to bring those features back, but in a way that's still professional and sleek and works well with the show. So there you go. Wow, look at that chat room. Who are we looking for?
Yeah, so we have more than one coworker who watches the show, whether it be live or on demand. So thank you guys for that, by the way. But one particular coworker, sort of, as he was saying it, he realized how it sounded, but he was too late to sort of retract the statement. He talked about how, he asked me if we had any plans for the weekend, and I was like, well, we're kind of triple booked. It's at some point, but, of course, the regular stuff, like we'll have the show. And he says, oh, yeah, I like listening to you guys on the show as I'm falling asleep. And I was like, wait, what did you just say? I'm like, that sounds a little creepy, you know that, right? Like, not just, it either sounds like we put you to sleep, or it sounds like, I just want to make sure that I dream of Ben and Gary-Ann as I fall asleep tonight. And I was like, thank you? And he goes, yeah. He realized it. He apologized. So I thank him for that as well. But that sort of made me giggle. Good times.
Well, audio is low. Hey, Dada, bump your audio up a little bit. And I'll keep talking. So bring your masters all the way up. Like, all the way up. And let me know when you're done. Huh. It's still too low. All right. How's that, everyone? That should be better. I brought it up on my end. We'll see.
One of the last comments we had from the previous show that we put into this show, I believe was the Bobbert for him comment.
Okay.
Made some sort of mention about Dutta not being incorrect. But he didn't know how to spell Dutta, which I felt really bad about. So he wrote D-U-H-D-U-H.
Now some people are saying there was distortion. So bring your levels back down. Bring your master back down to where it was supposed to be. And all right. So that looks probably not distorting now, right? They're saying too loud. I can't make any of you happy. None of y'all.
That's about where I had it, but I didn't have whatever your toggle was.
Well, I have master control over here for the embedder, and I just brought the master control up a little bit.
Yeah, you need to do that before the show so it doesn't.
Well, Citizen, remember you can turn your audio down too, right? So as long as the audio is not distorting, you can always turn your levels down.
What's that? I can't hear you.
Huh?
Huh?
Huh? All right. Anyhow, so my idea for the different Tomorrow shows, the big thing that's holding us back right now is we can't host that many shows in this apartment because, you know,
Where's your sense of adventure?
not there.
The Higginbotham Hostel.
You know, we could probably get started with the show in the apartment, but the second problem is who's going to host all of these, because I'm not an expert. I can do the technology side because I'm a techno geek. I could probably do the transportation side a little bit, but we should have more people than just us. And, John, that's creepy. That is not a hashtag to use on Twitter either.
I don't mind.
That's really good.
Yes, you've never seen that before?
No.
Good job.
And then an initial investment to...
Helldusk is correct, though.
What Helldusk say?
That is a myth. You can't turn down Ben.
That's funny, Helldusk. Not from a soapbox, anyway. Yeah, chat, Coco fan. Is
Chat
it Coco
never
fan?
happy. Yeah.
Coco fan, yeah, chat never happy. Yeah. Oh, initial investment because, you know, I do have a day job to pay for things like our apartment, power, you know, we internet access. Oh yeah, that's another thing that we have to pay for, internet access. We have to buy the top tier internet access in order to have enough upload speed, because we don't care about the download speed. We have enough upload speed to run the show. Oh, there was and that's $200 a month. Excuse me. An interview from Robert Bigelow would be pretty cool. I'll see what we can do. I'm not sure if we're quite ready for that yet, but yeah.
Now, Disney trips come out of our own pocket. You stop.
Well, and that goes to we do need to have a source of income for our own lives, which is the problem if we were to do these shows day after day.
If we do all of these shows and all of the money to go towards the shows, which they should, because that's the way it should be.
Well, kind of. I mean, there's a point where you can pay it's okay to pay yourself a salary if you're doing nothing but that.
But just getting started wouldn't replace.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is getting started wouldn't even come close to replacing it. So I haven't figured out how to deal with that yet. I don't know what you guys think of that as a concept. I don't know if you guys think that this is a good idea. If having a network of shows would be interesting. If this show is even interesting, I mean, obviously you're here live watching it, which is fun and we appreciate that. But would you not do it? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah, Nano Aircraft. First off, American bandwidth is terrible because there's no competition, and so they're not incentivized to do anything, and so they don't. So you spend $200 a month and only get 20 megs up.
Chris had asked if the shows have to be live. At least I assume that's what you mean from the words that you put into the chat room. The thing is that's, to put it in the simplest terms, that's our shtick, right? There are a million, billion, trillion, bazillion shows on the interwebs about anything and everything you could possibly ever imagine, and some things you didn't want to imagine, that are all only on demand.
Right.
And that's great. That's super awesome. We're not knocking that in any way, shape, or form.
No, I watch them. They're good.
Obviously, because we then put our stuff that is live on demand afterwards. And we have a huge audience on demand. I'm not trying to knock that either. But yeah, our thing is this live interactive shtick, if you will.
I think that's kind of the next thing, right?
I think it's kind of the next thing as well. And I always think it's funny when people are surprised by that. And, you talk to people live. How do you even do that? That they think this is like this really weird, bizarre thing. YouTube has its own sort of conference that comes through Anaheim, or at least it has the last couple of years. And we went a couple of years ago, and they had an entire panel on doing live stuff with YouTube.
They were so far behind us.
And it was impressive how far behind us they were, because while yes,
we were
they
excited to go learn new things. I'm like, oh, we're gonna take these back to our this is gonna be great.
Right, I was super thrilled to hear that there were other people that were doing the same kinds of things that we were doing. And while they might have been live, interactive is still such a broad term that what they considered to be interactive was not the way that we interact with you guys live or live-ish, right, with a 30-second delay at all.
I wish we could minimize that delay.
Sure, but I mean, at worst, it's like a 30-second delay. Some of these people are responding to stuff we're saying within nanoseconds, right? So, there's that kind of thing. What they were taking as interactive was somebody made a suggestion, like on Twitter, or they made a comment on one of their YouTube, kind of like we do with the comments from last week's show, and somebody made a suggestion. Great, they took that suggestion and said, and this one is for Patrick 42H. Here you go, Patrick. And, I'm sure Patrick would love something like that, yet at the same time, it wasn't this. It wasn't an actual live conversation. And it was really unfortunate. And I felt simultaneously proud, frustrated, and stupid, because here I was trusting that these other people were doing the same kind of thing that we were doing, and they really, really weren't. And I didn't understand why, and all of their different formats, because there was like 4 or 5 guys, and they did have completely different areas that they were sort of focusing on, and there wasn't any reason for them to not have been as interactive as we are. I don't know. It was kind of unfortunate, and it did make me realize how far ahead of the game. And I give this credit to Ben, honestly, how far ahead of the game that he was, because this was his original vision. We're still not all the way there. We're still not broadcasting.
Not even close. Right.
We're still not broadcasting live interactively weekly from the moon with the Earth in the background. But we're getting there, okay? And to think that we quite literally just started literally in my mom's basement with crappy, I think we were using GoPro cameras or something of webcams.
Webcams, Logitech C100s or something.
Logitech webcams was how we started this show. And how far that we've come, and the community that has been built. And I won't even say that we built it. You guys have built it, really, honestly. It's crazy pants, and I'm really proud of that. But it's also still to this day, which blows my mind, frustrating that people don't see the value in that, in interacting live and immediately with their audience. Actors say all the time that they love doing movies or they love doing TV or whatever, but they really love live theater because you get that immediate reaction. And while we can't hear you laugh, and we can't...
Oh, I hear you laughing at us all the time, Internet.
And we can't, we can't hear you actually shouting at us.
I hear you shouting in my head all the time, Internet.
But we do appreciate the things that you say in the chat room, and we do read it, obviously. And there's some stuff that we miss, and I apologize for that. But it's unlike anything else. And so, yeah, there's 1,004 gardening shows out there. There's probably a bazillion different new electricity shows, tech shows, for crying out loud. You can't hit the internet without hitting a freaking tech show, right? But the live, interactive, that's different. That's different. And
Yeah.
if we were going to build anything above and beyond Tomorrow Space, that's kind of just a basic standard for us. It would have to be live and interactive, period.
Yeah. I think you can't hear the tears. Thanks, Dada.
Thanks, Dada. Yes, ironically, for a big man, you do cry silently.
The thing is, there is not enough content in space to go for a 24-hour channel. And I know that we all want that not to be true, but it's true. You need good, compelling content, and there is about an hour's worth of compelling content a week in space, realistically.
Thank you, Vex.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that Patreon has radically changed this show in 1 year. If you go back even to season 6 and look at where we're at and look at where we're at now, it's a huge difference. This sounds terrible, but money makes all the difference. We can do so many more cooler things now. And a lot of this is behind the scenes stuff that we've needed to fix for a long time that you don't actively see, like Dutta getting a new Casper CG box that failed on air today. But, whatever. You get the idea. I'm also running beta software because, that's the thing you do. You get a new stable hardware platform and you put unstable software on it.
Immediately.
That's what I do. But yeah, I got to looking at this. Someone asked, would I leave my day job to do this full time? And the answer is probably I love this. I can't figure out... I have a chicken egg problem right now. I can't figure out how to make enough money to justify me not having a day job and have the patrons pay for my salary while leaving the day job. And so I feel like I need an influx for maybe a year or two to compensate for that because...
Well, we've all also, joking aside, there is a particular standard of living that Ben and I have become accustomed to.
Oh, I'm a pampered little prick.
We're both pushing 40 at this point. So we're not 23, 24, just starting out and are totally willing to sleep on the floor, not have a bed, and, crash on somebody's couch for a while the show sort of makes some money. Good God, that is so terrible.
Thanks, Nano Aircraft. That's fantastic. Although cool that the
but yeah,
service
the background hasn't changed because the background is still cool, and we also paid a shite ton of money for that too. That's one of the reasons why it
this
stays.
effing background is here because this is like several $1,000s in sound foam.
Yeah.
Why is sound foam expensive? Because it can be.
Pretty much, yeah. So there's only so many sacrifices that we are willing to take, honestly, in order to get all of these other projects up and going. And like Ben said, we don't have to be the hosts at it. Somebody in the chat room said that we're really good in this format. Jim Howard, thank you, Jim. That we're really great in this format. We weren't always really great in this format. We've been really good banterers in our real life for a long time. That's just how me and my family sort of grew up. And Ben was smart enough to be able to keep up with my family, and that's why I liked him. But and not everybody is. But there are plenty of people who are, or at least are comfortable enough in front of a camera to be able to present some sort of show in some sort of manner. And then eventually you just get more and more used to it as you continue to do it. So those are all of these hurdles, I suppose.
I think it would be fun. I think opening an actual studio space, I like the ability to bring in an audience. And here's where this all kind of comes together, and I think would be a lot of fun. It needs to be a core small group. It can't be tons of people. But we need to be able to make them all full-time employees, which has cost to it, especially in California, and a lot more cost than you think it should. It's almost like foam. We don't think it should be expensive because it's just effing foam, but it's expensive for no good reason. As Jim Howard said in the room, I'm running into sound foam prices right now. It's freaking foam. It is. It's just foam. Why is it so? This should be 10 cents per foot maximum. Anyhow.
Doesn't matter.
Where it would be cool is that now we're doing all of these things full time, and maybe tomorrow space is on Fridays. I don't know when it would be, but let's just say it's always Fridays. But there's a launch Thursday afternoon.
Right.
Well, then we cover the launch because now we have the people to do it.
Right.
So now we start doing not just this show, but actual launch coverage. And this is where we expand into, okay, well now maybe we can travel around a little bit and have like a van or something, a creepy van with all the gear in it that we can.
A creepy van.
That we can drive around, and maybe we're doing in this portable studio setup could be for any of the shows. So if there's something really big happening in electric motors or electric vehicles, we go to where that is and we do the live shows from there. But it just so happens that then that entire week, all the live shows for all the different brands are in that location.
Right.
And that one, the other brands then feed into that one because you go, oh, we're here for this other show. Let's do this, let's do tomorrow's space, talking about space, but you're in this really cool environment with all these electric cars behind you because these are all cool future things of tomorrow, right? And that would be kind of our shtick is the topic of tomorrow.
Right.
Technology of tomorrow, electricity of tomorrow, space, you get the idea. So... Yeah, that's my thought process, and I want it to be really great stuff that you can get anywhere too, right? And this is just me dreaming from a technical standpoint. Understand, content is very important. A lot of people say content is king. That is wrong. It is all important. It is all equally important. So we do the show in high definition now. I'd love to bump that up to 4K. It's not terribly necessary right now, but where it gets really cool is that a lot of the people who can afford the 4K sets might be willing to help contribute to the shows, and they're desperate for 4K content.
Yes.
So if we give them 4K content that they can watch on demand, I don't know how to broadcast 4K live today, but at least on demand, that would be pretty freaking awesome. And then when you get your 4K set, because those prices will continue to come down, probably within the next year or two, immediately all our stuff is available, and you'll be, oh my god, you can go back and watch the archive, have fun with that in all of these different brands. I want to be able to go, when I was talking about going on site, launch coverage, we're doing our own launch coverage, our own cameras, our own talent, our own people talking, right? Really getting people, like that Arion Space dude, like, what a Weight Watcher program. I want our guys saying that.
I don't want anybody ever saying that.
I know, it was
It's
so awesome.
ever so slightly insulting.
I loved that. I thought
FYI.
that coverage was spectacular. I love the data bar at the bottom. It was like old school Space Vidcast for shuttle coverage.
Right.
I love the data stuff on the right side. That was really freaking cool. The announcer was energetic and excited. The only thing that I don't like is that if you want to hear the French mission controllers, you can't. He speaks over them. I don't know how to solve that. Maybe a button where you could choose PAO, no PAO, but yeah. No, probably no 3D. I don't see... 3D doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
4K makes sense, right? More pixels, higher quality picture, even crop factor, even if you still broadcast in 1080, if you have 4K crop factor, that's awesome. 3D, I don't get. It's not done yet.
It's not done yet.
Yeah. My throat hurts. Let's see here. One multiple camera, that'd be a GoPro.
GoPro? Mm-hmm. No, Daniel Jackson. Good Lord. Anything but Daniel Jackson.
Vax, yeah, but the PAO talks over the mission controllers, I guess is the point. So I don't, whether you're watching English or French, PAO still talks over mission controllers. And that's the one thing that I have a hard time with that, because there's something awesome about being able to just hear the mission controllers call the flight up without any PAO, right? Just tell me what's going on. Even though they're not saying, what a Weight Watcher program! I mean, he brought a level of excitement that was not ever seen before. But
the Rumble in the Jungle.
The Rumble in the Jungle. Undertaker battles the Arion 5.
Right.
The Rumble in the Jungle.
That's how that
live
sounded
on
to
pay-per-view.
That's totally how that sounded to me.
Now it's done.
Uh-huh.
Although this needs to be over here for...
You're like Jimmy Fallon.
Hey guys, hey, what's going on? What's happening? What's going on? What's happening? What's good? So awesome, so awesome. Yeah, Donna, not walking on the controller calls, I agree. All right, I think it's time for us to do...
Yeah, because we have... Stop. Why are you brightening me for that?
I'm fidgety.
Awesome. Knock it off.
Meanie.
Yeah?
You're meanie face.
He's also wiggling his legs, which I can hear on mic.
Yeah, you always do that. So annoying. It's redonk.
All right.
That's why we
Zoom
need
out of
two
this.
beds.
It is, in fact, why we have two beds.
I know. What?
Good thing it's not the Mountain Dew.
I missed it.
You're fidgety and you had Mountain Dew. Sugar and caffeine.
Brilliant.
John asked if I want to get a red one. No, but I'd like to get a red Epic with a dragon sensor. That would be amazing. Slam a telescope on the back end of that and use that to follow the vehicle up. That's how I would do that coverage. I need the money for it.
What was the 5-minute thing? Space is boring. That was a T-5 talk by Andy Cochran at Space. Yeah, the original Space Up. Thank you, Vax.
All right, so we're going to do, let's see here. Oh, I am in edit mode.
Launch.
Launch. All right, we're going to do launches.
It's not even too much caffeine. He actually has an extremely high tolerance. Urban Space, the thing about the shirts that I wear, it's not like I designed them, so they're not really mine to resell. So there's that.
And actually,
And some of the SpaceX shirts that I have are sort of internal SpaceX only shirts.
So one of the things that's going to happen soon-ish, we're about $300 away or so, just a pinch over $300, is the TMRO swag store. Once the new logo is finished up, we'll have some cool swag gear for you to do. I thought it might be fun also for us to make low-volume shirts that we could wear on air.
Yeah.
That are fun, like
Eventually,
spacey shirts.
yeah, absolutely. There will be tomorrow themed, tomorrow exclusive shirts that you can also get. Helldesk. I bet these people have names. Andy Cochran. Good guy.
All right, ready for this?
Sure.
Here's what we got. I'm going to do launches. You're going to say Virgin Galactic moves to 2015. I'm going to do solar
Where did you
storms.
put that?
It's at the very bottom.
Why am I not seeing it?
Because
Edit document and see if I can see it then. Look, there it is. So stupid.
maybe you fell off the network.
Fine.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Yep. Too much Archer for you. That's one.
Not
One.
enough.
One.
Not enough
One.
Archer.
One. Coming up, launches.
Virgin Galactic moves to 2015.
Some solar storms, and we ask you, what is the killer app for space? Stay tuned. Tomorrow begins right now. One take.
Ow.
Timmy. My butt hurts. Kitty.
What? It's after dark.
She has a point.
You can have a world of different meanings. You just stick it that place.
Yeah, I did. Ooh. Yeah, is that it? Are we done? We stalling out here?
Well, they have a shower to get to, so we should probably let them go.
What time's the shower?
Starts at
5?
5, I think.
Oh yeah. I should probably let them go.
Are you not going?
No, we're going.
Okay.
I was complaining about
We
it.
figured you would get there before us, though, no?
I don't know. It depends on when we leave.
They're not going to start without me, Kitty says.
It's my shower, man. I mean,
How late has that go? Has that walk?
JD, November 29th.
y'all wait for me.
I don't need to sleep on the couch. I have my own bed.
Yeah, that you just recently figured out, even though we've had that bed for 3 years.
Now I want a sleep number bed. Because I'm not actually comfortable in that bed.
I want to sleep number bed too.
So I should get a sleep number bed then.
Yeah. And then when Kitty comes over for a good hour and a half each Saturday, she can be on a sleep number
The
bed.
problem is I'm a prissy little what am I trying to say?
Ish.
You're a pretty princess.
I'm a pretty princess, and we have a sleep number bed right now that she sleeps on. That's a king size something, and I would want something of equal quality. And those things are expensive. It's like the world's most expensive air mattress. Is what it really is. But they are fairly comfy. So there you go. All right. So anyhow, I did say pick before. If you guys have ideas, if you guys have comments on the Tomorrow network of tomorrow that I brought up, and you think it's a good idea, a bad idea, or have just anything with regards to it, because I'm kind of in the initial formulating an idea stage right now where I'm looking for any input, good, bad, otherwise kind of not related, like any input, looking for as much input as possible in any aspect of it. Feel free to email me, Benjamin, BenJamin, at tomorrow.tv, TMRO.tv. Let me know what you think, or put it in comments somewhere.
Also, want to be very, very clear about this, particularly when we started. We didn't have this sort of news format, discussion format, stuff from last week format. We had a little bit of that, and the show wasn't necessarily always an hour long. We kind of built into that. So these show ideas, don't be intimidated thinking like, well, how am I going to talk about, or how is anyone going to talk about X, Y, or Z of tomorrow for an entire hour? It could be a 15-minute show, which out of 15 minutes, you have a 30-second intro, a 30-second outro. Now you're down to 14 minutes. You have you probably have at least one commercial break in the middle of that, so that's like another 30 seconds to a minute out of, and then you still have the, hey, welcome to blah, 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 this is the thing, that's the thing, this is the other thing, and so out of 15 minutes, now you really only need maybe tops 10 minutes worth of content, whatever that is, 10 minutes 50 times a year, that's really what we're looking for.
Tomorrow Lost.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I would argue that for a live show like this, longer is actually better because you want that time to create the conversation.
Sure,
and
but
in,
I'm just
in
saying
10
that,
minutes, you can't create this really
right,
cool...
but half of that is the conversing.
Yeah,
What I'm
absolutely.
talking about is, I guess my point is that you really only need to be concerned about you personally coming up with 10 to 15 minutes worth of your own content of you talking without any response from anybody else. Does that make sense?
Yes. I mean, that's essentially what we do now with Space News.
Right, but
Actually, it's about 8, 9, 10. It's about 10 minutes, yeah.
that's my point. As opposed to, don't think of it as going, well, how can you talk for an hour about this, that, or the other? Don't be intimidated by that. Think of it, it's not that bad. It's not that much content.
I think any comments are welcome, with any regard to any side of that. So on that note, thank you everyone so much for watching. We'll see you in a week, and we have a baby shower to go to. So bye bye.